Probably a good idea. Good evening, everyone. Here we are with the Doghouse Racing League. Going to be playing remote again today. If you guys caught us with us at the Racing Revolution yesterday, we're going to be doing a little bit of the same today. Wonderful Stella. Stella is going to be in the booth here tonight with me, producing, going to be trying to put on the best show that we can here at Atlanta Super Speedway. Yes, I did say that, the Atlanta Super Speedway. We had originally raced here once before on the back in the 2008 version, but now we're on the much higher bank track here at Atlanta. So definitely not the way Jimmy Carter thought this one was the way it was going to go, since he ended up selling tickets here at this stadium. We are a little bit late here to the show, but we're able to get qualifying underway. It looked like Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cour were 1 and 2 out there on the chart. So the number 12 and the 21 are right now 1 and 2 here on the track. So the Twisted Axle Racing team seems to be in really, really good shape. And it's something really good to kind of note here is the way these guys have been racing week in and week out. Loud Pedal Racing and Elite Southern Motorsports seem to be the strongest drivers or pack of drivers that we've seen out on the track each and every week at the beginning of the season. I mean, we had, we originally had where we had Jonathan Jennings won the first two, Hunter Simpson won the following, and then after that, it's really been nothing but the Twisted Axle Racing team, other than Jeremiah Stutzman coming away with the last win, with a win, and Justin McMahon coming away with a win. So it is looking pretty solid here, and the points race is getting much tighter week in and week out. I believe Kevin Powell is still in the lead, but we head into Atlanta Super Speedway, 8 races under our belt here, and this is still looking to be a fantastic race. I can't wait to see what we've got going on here. Stella, if you wouldn't mind popping up the race info for what we've got going on tonight. I would love to see what our track conditions are heading into this one. Yep, yellow tower, empty race info grid. It should be on that one. There we go. That's exactly what we're looking for there at Atlanta, where these guys are ending up here tonight. And this is looking pretty solid here so far. 97 degrees out there on the track, 83 in the air. Pretty solid. I'm concerned about that humidity a little bit to see where that ends up putting us via engine power and some traction out there. 98 laps of what we got set here. 3 sets of tires in the pits, 70% fuel limit. Remember, of course, this being the Doghouse Racing League, that there will be no fast repairs. Interesting to see. I know the Racing Revolution, as long as they put a super speedway, but the Doghouse, absolutely for no reason will they ever put a fast repair out here, which really makes these guys crunch down. Stella, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and telling us a little bit about our sponsor here tonight and of the league, about Shoney's.
I can do that. The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen. Open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food, along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of the West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar. And don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947.
Appreciate you bringing that out there for us there, Stella. Looking pretty good here so far. How much time are you looking at here in the remaining minutes here of the warm-up?
If warm-up is 5 minutes, we have another minute and a half.
Oh, all right. Well, it looks like we've got a couple of drivers out there who are going to be looking pretty solid here so far. I would also question if anybody from the Twisted Axles Racing League would be able to come down and have a chat with us. I do notice out there actually Mike Samia. We'll see how well he does. I believe I see him he is teamed up with the Shoney's Racing team here tonight. And I believe he is probably one of their new additions. I don't think he was in there earlier in the original part of the season, but it looks like he is going to be the 4th guy in that position, so that is always good. Looks like Twisted Axle Racing may be MIA here. We're going to be kind of trying to see if we can chase them down when we can, but I believe they are not in here and checked out a little bit. This is looking pretty questionable for our top guys in the league of where they end up via the points, and I'm always trying to keep an eye out for where these guys end up in the points. Kevin Powell is sitting out there with a cool 1,253 points, but only 2 points behind with 1,251 will be Jacob Reeves. Jonathan Jennings with 1,244, Kevin Thompson with 1,219, and Jeremiah Stutzman with 1,154. Interesting enough, Andrew St. Cour is outside of the top 5 with 1,134. Chris Leftwich with 1,120. Justin McMahon with an 1,101. With at least one win under his belt here, looking for another. Christopher Berger sitting 9th, and Jackson Lomax in the 10th. So interesting to see, kind of how these guys are kind of, placing this here all together out here on the track and where they end up. Stella, I believe these guys are getting ready to grid up here.
I do believe so.
Alrighty, so underneath that race info button, there we go. We should be looking for the grid out there, not the results screen and the yellow tower.
Okay, tonight we're looking at Kevin Thompson taking the pole. Andrew St. Cour's next to him in his number 12. Christopher Berger in the number 3 car for Turn 1 Racing is in 3rd. Next to him is Jackson Lomax in 4th. Daniel Wilkerson from Loud Pedal Racing is coming in on the inside lane at 5th. Jonathan Jennings in 6th. Jason Miz in his number 7 car is 7th. Christopher Schaefer is 8th. Hunter Simpson in the for Mid-South Racing, he's got in number 9. Jacob Reeves, number 10. Nick Schell is coming in at 11th for Black Bullet Racing. And Gary Clune is in number 12.
Right, and we'll rotate to the back of the field here. Red rectangle, grid.
I like to hit results. Maybe I'm in a hurry. Kevin Powell in 13th, Justin McMahon 14th, inside lane Brad Hull in the 45 car, Michael Samia in the 16th spot. Inside line Gary Armillo, followed by Jeremiah Stutzman in 18th, Christopher Simon in 19th, Kevin Brown 20th, 21st, Chris Leftwich, and Mike Leftwich in 22nd, Ricky Montgomery in 23rd, and Eddie Rivers in 24th.
Alrighty, how many are we looking at? A total of 24 drivers here tonight, Stella?
We are.
All right, Eddie Rivers bringing up the back of the field. Ricky Montgomery, one of the newer drivers out here. Glad to see him back out there as well. Both Chris and Mike Leftwich will be starting back there in that back there in the 11th row. So it was looking pretty solid here. Atlanta Super Speed. I want to call it the Atlanta Super Speedway, but they are going ahead and sticking to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and take a look at our front leaders here, where Kevin Thompson, the Great Clips number 21, gets taken off here. See if you can rotate up front there, Stella. Oh yeah, there we go, because I want to see how well these guys run side by side with St. Cour in the front and Kevin Thompson on the outside. Now, if you remember anything last time with Atlanta's Motor Speedway, this is looking pretty tough out here for the drivers, where they ended up and how well it did. I mean, it was a wild run out there, and I'm very interested to see how well this continues on. St. Cour ended up winning this race last time through, so St. Cour going to be trying one more time. And I asked him earlier if there's any sort of adjustments he needed to make with it being a super speedway. No was his answer. He said maybe a slight tire adjustment. He said the banking actually helps the car turn. A few extra rules out here. I know iRacing is looking to implement pit road entry into turn 3. It has not been updated. It will not be forced here tonight, but the passing limit will be. They cannot pass below the red and yellow line you see out there on the bottom, and if they cut that dog leg that you actually see in the front of Atlanta that has now been created since the repaving, there will be a black flag. Stella, go ahead and get us that grid up there, or the the tower up there, and see how see where our guys are ending up and who is moving and shuffling around here on the track. Interesting enough, see St. Cour in the front, Kevin Thompson trying to get a little fresh air, taking a peek on the bottom, and no can do. Still St. Cour in the front here. Stay in that same place that you got our tower to show up there, Stella. See if you can go ahead and click on the laps that are just below it there, and we'll see exactly how many laps, so we can help our viewers notice where the countdown is. I think an hour and 48 minutes, the way the Doghouse Racing League races, I definitely expect to see this mixed up, something fierce here. These guys will have absolutely no problem out there on the track to get a solid time out here and be in the right place at the right time. But Kevin Thompson now in the lead. Berger still trying a little bit here on the outside. He's going to get the nose out. Yeah, that lap for him. But it's good to see Berger and Lomax finally, the Turn 1 racing team, getting a shot here toward the front. A couple races ago, they actually had all 5 of them start in the front, and all 5 of them just about ended up outside the top 5, except Matthew Robinson, who tried desperately to keep his team on track, as they believe wrecked out just due to some unfortunate events, with only 5 laps into this one as they come through turn number 4, heading back to the front stretch. And you're noticing some of these cars starting to loosen up a little bit. That turn 4 exit wall is looking pretty close and looking pretty nice to those right front fenders. I believe a couple of drivers will probably end up in a lot of trouble hitting them. With a little throwback to the last Atlanta race, Christopher Simon. This is the track that was an accidental spin out. He ended up dumping the clutch. Robinson got into the back of him and ended up taking 3 other drivers out into the field. But we are looking to remedy that here tonight as we're looking at the number 23, Christopher Schaefer, rolling on the outside, leaving a lot of gap here. And I believe that is right behind Jonathan Jennings. Now, Jennings, if he can get broken away here and get that fresh air, I definitely expect to see Jonathan Jennings in that number 91 trying to slide on through, but it's looking pretty wild. See if we can get a little farther down on the track. Probably TV3 there, Stella. And we have to see if we can square this off a little bit. Oh, yeah, look at these guys rolling through that turn. So solid right now into the front. Turn 1 racing rotates down in front of the Twisted Axle racing team. So Kevin Thompson actually on the rollback here on the pole, now down to 3rd. And it looks like St. Cour is sitting almost in that 4th, 5th position. So he's got to continue to move on through as he drops now down to 7th. Inside line is really starting to fail at this point. And now we question, once the rubber builds up and he gets into the track, we're about to see a lot more speed out of these cars. Berger leading the charge here. Looks like Jackson Lomax still on the bottom behind Berger. Berger pushing along here, but Berger with plenty of fresh air. And right now, I love to see him out here, because right now Christopher Berger's had a boatload of bad luck the entire season here so far, and now might weigh his chance to stay out front. But pit stops still have to happen. Guys really need to kind of question where they need to be and how well they pit here. I believe Ricky Montgomery ended up getting a little slow off the start here, so he may be some lap traffic these guys are going to run on. Do you think we could take a quick ride along here with Andrew St. Cour here? Let's see if we can go left front suspension onto Andrew St. Cour and see what it looks like here. As we look out the front windshield of Andrew St. Cour, there's the lap traffic you see right there at the top of his windshield. And he's going to be running into that here pretty soon. Excellent here. Looking good there. Still, I like the way that looks. St. Cour looks like he's trying to chase him down, staying behind his teammate, but they got a ditch turn 1 racing. This is going to allow a bit of a backing here for that inside line. Watch it start to move. I believe, is that Daniel Wilkerson? I think that might be Daniel Wilkerson working up the inside. Now 5th position, he'll be on the inside of St. Cour. See if we can pop us back out here, TV2, and take another look at what we've got here. Daniel Wilkerson on the inside line, now starting to pick up the pace. St. Cour on the outside, and now watch this void start to get filled as I guarantee you Wilkerson's looking for 3rd. Hard push here in the front right now. Kevin Thompson now has the lead. Thompson outside line. He knows there was some success with turn 1 racing hanging around up there, and they're very interested to see why they bailed out of it. Outside line picking up the pace here. Here we go. Christopher Schaefer now into 3rd. He's been in 3rd a couple of times here, but has had no success to get broken away. Christopher Schaefer might be a better pusher car than a leader here. He's going to say, nope, I'm going to try it myself. Now down to the bottom for him. Christopher Schaefer now into the lead, down to the bottom in the lead of the inside row. Trying to see if he can get a little bit here, running behind Kevin Thompson as they squeeze through the dog leg here, and Kevin Thompson is going to get another lead lap as St. Cour really buries the nose of his car into the rear bumper of Kevin Thompson. So both these guys are going to need paint jobs for this team. Tough is what we're looking to see here, Stella, and this is looking pretty wild out here at the track. Heading down through 3 and 4 here, lap 13 as these guys roll on through. Outside line still prevails. Jonathan Jennings looking to squeak into 3rd here. Now Christopher Schaefer onto the bottom. Side by side, these guys go. Look how that outside line kind of squeezes down a little bit, trying to see if they can get anything else. I think that's Gary Clune that is riding the outside line above, and right behind Jonathan Jennings. And really great job by him trying to stick along with these guys and continue his charge toward the front. And it's interesting to see, oh man, as I think Clune clips the wall there just a little bit. I bet you he's going to hate that we kind of called him out there a little bit, maybe a little pressure for him in that number 11 Mobile 1 machine out there. Right now, the outside line is broken away. 3 cars out in front. Christopher Schaefer not really seeming to get a whole lot of help, as I think Jackson Lomax and Christopher Berger here. Oh, and Chris Schaefer's around. Chris Schaefer now on the inside line, but he holds it. Excellent job by the dirt track racer out there of Christopher Schaefer as he heads from the 3rd spot all the way on back. That was looking pretty sketchy there. I believe he is beyond the 20th position, if not sitting 19th, as he's going to have to try to charge back forward and find out how he's going to get these guys on the draft. Now, a slight mistake like that and him not being in the draft, these guys are going to start pulling away. So where Christopher Schaefer ends up and trying to catch back up the field is going to be huge here tonight. As we head through halfway through lap number 16, Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Clair, Gary Clune here in the front. This is amazing right now what we're seeing out of these guys driving here. Twisted Axle Racing was 1, 2, and 3 there for a moment as Clune drops on back as Jennings in front of Christopher Berger. Berger looking to see if he is considering pushing the mellow yellow car in front of him here, but I don't think he's having any success. Both of the Chevrolets are having no go on this track. 3 wide as we're racing here in the back. Somebody's shooting it up the gut. Oh man, there might be some contact there in the back. Looks like we got Clune up in the wall almost again. I think he's having some trouble coming on the entry of the turn. Too much run in. So he may have to back up that turn a little bit. I believe that as Justin McMahon back there breaking into 7th, down to 8th again as Kevin Powell now makes his charge here toward the front. And it's interesting to see is a lot of drivers out here have had conversations before about where they, how the car handles and in which part of the track. They said your guys in the front will lose a boatload of speed. The guys sitting maybe in 2nd and 4th, the second guys in that line are doing all the pushing. The guy who has all the speed is the 3rd one in line, and they come up with a huge run. And I think Gary Clune is finding a whole bunch of that. Is where does he put that speed? And unfortunately, he's putting it in the wall a couple of times here. Gary Clune trying to see if he can get a little bit going on here. Looking at Clune on the back side of his car, looking back. Great camera angle here, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, that's Kevin Powell sitting behind him. A little bit different paint job for him here tonight. Racing, trying to see if they can get something going here. No can do. Wilkerson, who was up there battling around that 3rd area, is now dropped down to 10th position. Jason is 11th. Pretty interesting run here as we see Christopher Schaefer now down to the 21st position. Still, he is trying his best to get back underway. 22nd now as Christopher Schaefer continues to fall off. He's got to continue his charge here toward the front. If I'm not mistaken, I don't see Matthew Robinson out here, so one of the Turn 1 Racing team members is down here for the night. Christopher Schaefer into the wall. Holy cow. Yeah, that's going to be a broken toe link there. No caution. If he toes, that might be a caution. We'll see. Nope. All right, back to the front here as Jonathan Jennings is broken into 2nd place here. Continuing on through. Let's see how that 36 machine decides to push. Right now, I guarantee you these 2 guys have not really raced side by side. Berger's been in the back of the field a whole bunch lately, but tonight might be his night. I'm sure he would love to have a top 3 finish here. But the Twisted Axle Racing team still outside line. Thompson and St. Clair in the front. Thompson was leading a good bit of it. St. Clair actually led by a commanding lead, but was able to throttle back just a little bit. And Thompson almost ran him down as St. Clair got him away with his first win of the year. So here we go, still going in the front. Notice some of these cars are separating a good bit here. Hunter Simpson, glad to see him back out here on the track. He's been on about a 2-race hiatus, couple of starting parts for him, but he's going to be continuing out here. Fantastic job to see Hunter Simpson juggling around here in the top 10, looking for a top 5 here before the end of this race. Lap 23 halfway through here as they exit turn 2. Definitely some fast speeds out here. I believe these guys are getting over 180 miles an hour in the draft, so this is pretty sketchy here on these brand new tires that Goodyear has developed. And definitely the fade off starts taking its toll very, very quick. As you see, we're starting to get a pretty decent amount of separation here on the track already between 18th and 19th place. We're looking at about a 9-second gap between Stutzman and I believe that is the 13 of Chris Leftwich. So definitely a big separation by these clutch cars, and I don't know if some slight spin out here ended up in just putting these guys into a lot of bad position and bad shape out there. But I believe Christopher Schaefer may be out of the race here, as I don't think. I believe Gary Armijo was out. Christopher Schaefer's trying to fix, and Ricky Montgomery had a bad spin out there earlier in the race. So far, this race has been all Kevin Thompson here. He's been challenged a few times here, but St. Cours sticking close with him, and Gary Clune sitting third. I'm wondering to see if Kevin Powell, Jennings, and Hunter Simpson are going to link up here, and I think they probably are, as these guys are getting around the track. 25 laps into this one. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, this one's not going to last long, as the track speeds are very fast here. Definitely popping some fast times here. Stella, show me a little bit of those last lap times here. Yeah, still around that 30-second mark, looking pretty solid here so far, and we're looking already at those last lap times. 30:45 there out of Kevin Thompson, and even faster than that with Hunter Simpson with 30:31. So a lot of these guys with Jason Miz getting some fast times out here. It's interesting to see where they end up here in the end of the track. You know, once we get to a super speedway, there's no rhyme or reason what it takes to get them there. Stella, if you could show me their best times, button right below that, and then we'll be able to take a look as Gary Clune's trying his luck here on the bottom, trying to see if he can have a little bit there on the front stretch, but had no luck there at all. Fastest times, yeah, just about 30 seconds flat. Couple of guys, more than a couple of guys, definitely more than two handfuls of guys here getting into the 29-second, especially Gary Clune with a 29.84. All right, back to the gap here, and still in the front. Looks like Kevin Thompson, St. Cours, and Clune 1, 2, and 3. Hunter Simpson now into that fourth spot. And I said he was going to toy around here with that top 5, but we are definitely going to have to pit. And I would probably say that pit window is probably going to open here between 30 and 37 is what I'm calculating here. The guys may have to come down pit depending on how much they have been drafting. Hunter Simpson now gives a quick little pop there to the back end of Kevin Powell in the 93. Excuse me, Powell down onto the bottom. We're getting through here. Looks like, yeah, Hunter Simpson now in the third, so now he's in a podium spot. Clune is now starting to scratch his head, and I'm wondering what makes drivers want to dive toward the bottom. As we've taken a look here, all 29 laps of this race, outside the line prevails. They've got enough turn speed, enough turn exit here, and they're able to scamper and get away. It doesn't seem that much on turn entry, but turn exit is where it's paying off. As watch again, here it comes. You see the driver right behind Hunter Simpson is now Jason Miz. Miz now drops to the bottom. Very gutsy call. And we might see Miz drop way back if he can't get any help from Gary Clune. So Clune almost seems like his brakes are starting to lock up on the front. But the inside line, he's not really getting a whole lot of help here. So he's out there driving by himself. Jason Miz trying to see if he can get a little farther past Hunter Simpson here. Fender, he's got about half a car length on him now, as Hunter Simpson now increases the gap. Outside line, now you see the pickup of the speed here, rotating through. Looks like Christopher Simon, fourth position. I bet you he's looking to try to return back from where Atlanta went last time. He could definitely use it for sure here. Look at it as we go. Christopher Simon now fourth, and Mike Samia. I don't know how many positions has Mike Samia moved up. I know he's moved up a boatload here in this race. All right, 11 positions here out of Mike Samia in the 44 machine.
But he's not the hard charger. Christopher Simon has moved up 15 positions.
Oh, no kidding. Not too bad. Christopher Simon definitely switching this up here. Mike Samia drops back down to 6, and we're starting to see guys switch it up here. You know, I think they're finally getting up toward the front, noticing they're not just in a pile of cars, and everybody starts diving back to that inside line. Inside line is not holding. Kevin Thompson, St. Cours have this outside line locked up pretty tight. Right now, Hunter Simpson couldn't be in a better position in that fourth move here, but right now I think we are still looking at Christopher Schaefer down pit, trying to fix that race car, trying to score some points for his team out there, which is rather unfortunate. We did see him wreck smack into the wall there, but hopefully we'll be able to catch back up with him here. Let's take a look. Jason Miz and Hunter Simpson slicing around the track here. Definitely shuffling it up here.
I believe Chris Schaefer may be taking it to the garage.
All right, well, we'll definitely keep tabs on him. I don't see anything in the medical center, so I may still be checking him out there after that hard hit we saw into the wall between 3 and 4. Still, race all Kevin Thompson right now. So far, so good out of him. Hunter Simpson still toying around with between third and fifth position. Inside line, starting to finally get a run, starting to come to life here a little bit. As Christopher Simon gambles, takes it down to the bottom where the number 7, Jason Miz, trying to push it on through. No can do. Outside line seeming to still hold here so far. And really hats off to St. Cour here for not really pushing past Kevin Thompson. Just staying on top of him there, and everything looking so far so good. B-Mac out there in the chat, I know, is a big fan out there of Andrew St. Cour. He said, put pedal to the metal, Andrew, go, go, go. Number 12, have a great race. Great qualifying runs, team twisted axle. You are right. Here they come on the inside. Interesting to see them make a little block here, and I would probably guess that fuel window's starting to open. They're trying to secure a spot to get down pit. 35 laps into this one. We are not even to the halfway point. Guys are starting to really talk to the crew chiefs here. Do we take tires? I mean, obviously a full tank of fuel, but do they take tires? And that is going to be a big thing we keep our eye out for here, as Kevin Thompson still slicing around the track here. And I'm wondering if they are getting ready to pit here in the next couple of laps. No can do as these guys stay out there on the track. I have seen some of these guys actually practicing some of their pit stops out there. And actually, if they try to enter pit through turn 4, some of these guys notice that the brakes won't hold and it will sling them right through the infield. And that just is not what you want here, especially when you've been doing so well all race. All right, there we go. There's pit stops happening. Kevin Thompson, looks like Andrew St. Cour working their way down. Oh, man, remember what I was talking about, everybody entering on turn 4. That's exactly what happened there, as everybody skates right there. We'll keep our eye actually out there on Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cour to see if there was any sort of pit road violation. Definitely had the smoke, but no, it doesn't. The cone still stands, so nobody made contact. We'll rotate through Hunter Simpson here and see how well it looks with him in the lead. I can't imagine him staying out much longer here. So some of these guys did stay in the draft. I was thinking about laps 37 is when these guys would pit, but they are stretching it out to 39 now. So much farther, able to squeeze out a few extra laps. These guys are going to be cars are going to start getting real thirsty here real quick. Definitely some 2-tire or 4-tire pit stops being considered out there. Stella, what are we looking like for some pit time out there on our original race leader, Kevin Thompson, the number 21, who's now sitting 14th?
Yeah, we are looking at between 14 and 15 seconds for that big clump that came in on lap 37.
All right, nobody else out there really considering any kind of different pit strategies, eh?
No splash and go that I can tell.
All right, well, some of these guys may still consider that. Hunter Simpson finally getting out to the lead. He's scored himself 5 points here for leading a lap. I don't believe he's going to have enough for a bonus unless he's able to get back out here after. And this is
here they come.
Yep, here they come. All right, out there in the chat, definitely appreciate you out there, Mr. Timmy. Glad you were out here joining us again. Preppy Michelle out there, yeah, definitely. Christopher Simon is having a much better run than he was last time we were here, so I expect to see at least a top 5 finish out of Christopher Simon. And out there in the chat as well, Eric W12 watching and one like, that happens, man. Sometimes I would probably say once you get to the larger tracks. And what you see, we head to Talladega, all of a sudden you'll notice we'll end up with almost 30 people out here. But some people with this Atlanta, people are like, man, I don't know, or anything like that. But definitely, if you guys are looking to join the Doghouse Racing League, you can find them on Facebook or at SimTraxBroadcasting.com. It'll also have their links in all their previous races that we have broadcasted for these guys before. This is definitely I believe they had the record here at SimTraX that these guys went 4 races with only 2 cautions. Some of you guys do notice, some of the ones we have, can definitely be caution fests. as I like to call them, they wreck a whole bunch. But these guys are super, super clean, especially for an open setup league. Some guys don't quite get it dialed in, and sometimes the aerodynamics take a little bit of a factor and sling on off. Who are we looking at
There
here,
we go.
Stella? It's working on our way back down. Is that
That's
Stutzman?
Jeremiah Stutzman, last one to come in. I was wondering if he was going to stay out there forever.
All right, well, Jeremiah Stutzman, this is kind of his MO. I've seen this multiple times, him actually stay out much longer, you know, to be able to come out, squeak out another 5 points, and then get on through. But he just clears that finish line as I believe St. Cour now captures the lead.
Yes.
Here in the front. So let's take a look at St. Cour. I'm sure he is in good company there. St. Cour in the front with Kevin Thompson, Jason Miz, Hunter Simpson, Kevin Powell, and Jonathan Jennings. And then they have at least a 2-second gap before Reeves reaches them in that number 3 machine, and Justin McMahon now who is in that 8th position. So definitely wild. I know Preppy Michelle out there kind of rooting on Christopher Simon, but I think Simon had a pretty rough pit stop there. I don't think he's got a long way to go to break back into the top 10.
Yeah, Christopher Simon was still in 1472. He's right in the ballpark of everyone else. I believe the longest pit stop was by Daniel Wilkerson.
How long was Daniel Wilkerson? Did he have
He was 1675. If so, it's just looks like an optional.
More slid through his box or something. That definitely is going to Wilkerson's night down to 14th for him. He will continue his battle on up to the front here. St. Cour back in the spot where he was last time we were here at Atlanta, running up on some lap traffic here. Boy, and definitely communication is key here at this track. Boy, it looks like St. Cour may have taken the right rear quarter panel and nudged that wall there just a bit. Yeah, but teammates all alike here, 1 and 2. Definitely exactly what you want to see, and I would be curious. These two say that they love helping each other, love pushing each other around. A win is a win for the team, regardless if it's their own just for themselves. But this is really something to kind of keep in mind, as the inside line has now been taken over by Hunter Simpson with a quick move there, and now the separation. Hunter Simpson now into the lead, and I would probably say that is a very, very well thought out move here, as Hunter Simpson moves in front, followed by Kevin Powell and Jonathan Jennings. So this is looking pretty wild here. The Elite Southern Motorsports team to to really dial that move in, make the slide to the bottom, and now Twisted Action Racing Team is on the back foot here, as they just don't have enough pushers on that outside line to really prove their case here and continue on that outside line. So Andrew St. Cour may have to duck back in behind the 91 machine of Jonathan Jennings, and try to chase these guys back down.
Yeah, and Hunter Simpson, talking about strategy, the top 3 actually were late pits. They all waited until 40. And these guys started at 37, so they have a little advantage there.
That they do, but it's definitely going to be really kind of questionable here if they are trying to see if they can make it a one-stop race. I just don't think they're going to be able to squeak that out. There's at least going to need to be a second stop made. But this is what separates the men from the boys, and these guys, battling back and forth here, whether they are able to, hit a little bit later. They may be taking it right now, but it may pay off 5 to 8 laps later on into a long run. Be able to pick up a lot more speed here, as we're looking at Reeves, who we were saying was off by almost 2 seconds, is now under a second here for 7th place and continuing on. I mean, we've got Chris Leftwich in the 13th. We've got Hall in the 45 sitting 9th, Justin McMahon in the 8th. These guys are getting ready to reel in that front pack here, and really we're right back to racing again with these front clutch of cars. The top 10 are all smushed together, trying to run each other down here. And I think the only thing that's going to matter, but lap 49 was our halfway mark, and we're still continuing on here. I don't believe St. Cour is going to be able to get to the front end anytime soon, seeing that the Elite Southern Motorsports team is blocking that low line, hard. But so far so good at the outside line, and now has more drivers than just 2. Stacking up behind them there, the number 7 machine there of Jason Miz, and I believe, who is that behind Miz? Is that Reeves that
Jennings.
behind?
Yeah, Miz followed by Jennings, followed by Reeves.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought that was the mobile number 11 of Gary Clune that was behind him on that outside line.
No, Gary Clune's like down in 20th unless he's
lap car. Yep.
Run over. Yeah.
Yeah, the number 11 is tucking in there, but it looks like the Twisted Axle Racing team at least sitting there in perspective, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 4 there on that outside line. Trying to see if they can get that outside line moving again. What did I say? Outside line will prevail as long as you got enough people pushing, and that is exactly what's happened. Oh no! St. Croix gets hooked here a little bit by Kevin Thompson. Fantastic recovery, and Gary Clune is around.
But we do have a caution.
All right, you able to find Gary Clune in the 11? 20th position. See how his car came out on that one. Yeah, definitely a weird one. I do want to see how that originally began. If we could roll that back and see if there was some sort of contact. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Nice and slow. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, first caution of the night. Looks like number 3 may have gotten in the back of Clune. Look at Stutzman.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's just not make it a habit.
Yuck.
Okay.
Some of these guys who are laps down, we'll have to see who is the lucky dog around. Can't imagine anybody not pitting here.
Well, come Mike Leftwich, Stutzman, and Kevin Brown are trying to get some laps back, I believe. They have not come in.
Okay, if they're able to hang out there, they may be trying to get a wave around here. Pit road is heating up. I'm interested to see if St. Croix can scurry off here in time. I know Kevin Thompson is at front. But we'll see if maybe a 2-tire stop is in order for some of these guys. Yeah, I think Gary Clune, he may be down pit road for a while. See that number 11 get knocked out like that. Taking a look at Andrew St. Croix. Trying to see who he's got in front of him here. Kevin Thompson second, so I think those two, you were saying the Leftwich and Stutzman are still out there, so they're trying to get a wave around here. See if they can get pushed around the pace car. Which means St. Croix came back down pit road. It would be interesting to see if any of these guys decide to hit that 1 to go, pace car lights are off, and come down for an extra splash of fuel. We've seen some of these guys have made it 40 laps, and it would be cutting it close. I mean, we're talking somebody's going to stall out at the line with no fuel if they are able to stretch it just a little bit here. But maybe when it gets 1 to go, we may see some guys duck on down the road one more time or not. So far, this race has just been pretty much been all Twisted Axle Racing here in the front. Number 12, Advanced Auto Parts, and the Great Clips, number 21 here in the front row, double stacking again here. This looks a lot familiar, like the beginning of the race. Sean Thompson out there rooting on his son. Kevin Thompson, the number 21. All right, Preppy Michelle. Oh, your brother, Chris. Okay, I didn't know that. And Blake Simpson out here tonight as well. He says Simpson's got to take this win tonight. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. He was definitely in fuel savings mode into the last run. We are going to be hitting green flag here on lap 57 is what we will be starting on. And that is really going to bring it very, very close, as we'll be 41 laps from the end. I would probably say if there's another caution, if guys decide to stay out, they may have enough fuel, but trying to squeak this out is going to be very, very close. Fortunately for Jeremiah Stutzman, who had the longest fuel run, but he had to stay out to get the wave around, so he may be coming back down for another pit stop. Green flag is out. We'll get back to it here. Andrew St. Cour in the front, Kevin Thompson, Jason Miz, Kevin Powell, and Christopher Berger. Hey, check that out. Berger and Lomax here, 5 and 6. Not too bad by these guys. At least turn 1 races, they will show up here just a little bit. I know it's a little unfortunate. Oh, dog. Kevin Thompson goes up there and cuts off Andrew St. Cour. Definitely don't want to take out another driver there of turn 1. Well, excuse me, of Twisted Axle Racing. Gary Clune has already had some problems out there. Clune is still down pit.
Yeah, he's been down 4.5 minutes so far.
Yeah, he may have broken a toe link on that slide. I was hoping it wouldn't, but it looked like he suffered some damage there on the right front. Staying here in the front, looks like we still got Kevin Powell trying to drum something up here with Justin McMahon. Not enough here as they try to get on the exit of turn 4, now to the dog leg, across the line. Kevin Thompson still there. Andrew St. Cour going to have to wind up a little bit and see if he can fold his bumper around the nose of his car to get him pushed back out front again, and he does. Right now, it looks like Andrew St. Cour is able to get the breakaway here, and inside line, here it comes. Now the inside line starting to look like it's got a definitely 200 pounds on the back bumper, as they are just unable to pull this thing around. Kevin Powell not finding any luck here. Outside line still pushing its way along. It's very interesting to see here, Stella. They want to cut that dog leg. You can see if they drop below that red and white line, they would pick up, much, much needed time, like how we see at Michigan or a track like Auto Club.
Yeah, not been a huge fan. I don't mind them going down on the dog leg, but coming back up just seems to wreak terrible havoc.
That it does, and especially the way they paved this here. I know it's got some different humps to it. With it, definitely between the surface down there and the apron, kind of jerk the car up a little bit. I would probably say not as bad as Phoenix, though. Phoenix is pretty rough transfer. They've been doing that from here, cutting the dog leg off that track. Around we go still. Right now, 1, 2, and 3 don't seem to be under fire. As I say that, the 93 slides underneath here of Jason Miz, who's still sitting in the number 7. 7 of Jason Miz, really trying to see if he can find an open slot here. I know he wants to try to see if he can take it farther to the outside, and that might actually be something to consider. It would be very dangerous if the spotter isn't getting paid real well there by Andrew St. Cour, but if they could squeak that outside line and take it farther to the outside, they could actually drum up a new line there on the outside and push their way around. So this could be a very big consideration here with Jason Miz, and I believe that is Christopher Berger behind him. Yeah, Kevin Powell wishing he had definitely some different running shoes on here, because the inside line just isn't holding up with anything now. As Justin McMahon trying his best to push it, but McMahon needs help. McMahon can't do it by himself, so inside line has got to start picking up the pace here. As the number 13, Chris Leftwich, I believe the 58, is that a new driver out there? I wonder if that's Nick Schell, who's supposed to be in the 04. I think his paint job is incorrect out there.
That's what I have is the 04.
Right. Glad to see Nick Schell out here. I believe he is a new driver here with the Doghouse Racing League as well, down there joined up with Turn 1 Racing. He's got a few laps under his belt here, and a few races, but unable to capitalize on most of it. Schell has got to start closing the gap here if this inside line is going to form up at all. 13 needs to consider the same, as the outside line is still continuing to move. Christopher Berger now clear, and moving on from there, Jackson Lomax is going to be trying that as well. If Lomax can stay up close to Christopher Berger, he's going to break into the top 5. So far, so good. You see that? You see the gap here. He lets off just a hair, but he could definitely send that 96 into the back of the 36 there and keep him going. Wow! 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 definitely. What are we looking at for speeds here? All right, about 180 miles an hour. I know it's behind that Shoney's sign there.
Sorry.
But that's all right. Let's go ahead and see if we can find the driver out there. I want to ride along with Jonathan Jennings. I want to take a little ride along with him. Right now, I believe he's slid up into the 11th position. He's found out that outside line is just not his place to be. The inside just not happening here. Very interesting because Atlanta never used to be like this. Atlanta was very inside middle lane heavy, and these guys riding the outside are just finding that the banking is just absolutely the most favorable spot on the track. They're just going to continue their roll here. Can you tell there, Stella, on his dash, is he doing a 5th or a 4th gear running?
Yeah.
Oh, man, talk about 5th gear. That is unheard of. Jonathan Jennings does not do 5th gear. But I guess he is out there trying to make this thing last as long as he can out there on the track. We've got 30 laps left to go in this race. Fuel economy has got to be huge right now. And guys who are in the lead, such as Kevin Thompson, I think St. Croix may be trying to wait out his own teammate here. To see if he can hold him down there. I believe we have a static TV there for just a moment or so. Trying to take a ride around the track.
Yeah, when they did this redo, they actually widened to accommodate side-by-side racing in the front stretch. But in the corners, they reduced it 15 feet, from 55 to 40 feet wide. So they didn't do him much favor.
Alrighty, move this thing to the chopper view up front around that Jackson Lomax Jason Miz area. We have 3 wide up here toward the front. Looking pretty sketchy here. I believe this is the number 7 of Jason Miz. Was trying that 3rd line and was able to do it as he tried to slide underneath, which has now cost him. This may bump him out of the top 10 here and on back as he continues to fall farther and farther back. Number 60 of, I believe that is Mike Leftwich, sitting there on the inside line. Mrs. Scott dropped it down to the bottom to stop the bleeding. Holy cow, well, that was a huge shot here. Inside line might be forming up again. Andrew St. Croix looks like he's under fire here by Kevin Powell up here for a top spot. Boy, look how fast these boys moving. Looking very, very good. TV1. See how we can look here on the track. Look, very, very interesting angles here that we've got as these guys fly around Atlanta Speedway. Good Lord. I don't know, Stella. Just like I said, the banking, the speed, it just has that super speedway feel to it. Definitely love that they changed the track, though. This is looking pretty wild. You know, to me, Atlanta was already a fast track, but they've actually slowed the cars down because they're going even faster than I think they expected. So fortunately, the safer barrier walls will keep any of our guys from getting any major injuries, and the few car tweaks they've made out there to try to keep the drivers safe with no concussions. But Thompson, St. Croix, Berger, 1, 2, and 3 is Kevin Powell. Had a run there on the inside line there for a little while as it went 3 wide. Outside line now forming back up. And it's probably safe to say here, Stella, this is about a single lane track.
They're saying you can do 3 and pretty safely, actually.
Yeah, just in the name of passing right now, outside line. You're not on the outside line, you're not going anywhere. So, biggest thing is everybody says if you're in the lead, you're a sitting duck. If Andrew St. Croix leaves Kevin Thompson alone, he's going to smoke him. So the key is trying to get Kevin Thompson out there far enough away from Kevin Powell, who's holding this inside line, and try to squirt out of there. Kevin Powell now sitting in second. And St. Croix is now starting to fall off.
Yeah, he just went to 5th real quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yep, that is Elite Southern Motorsports trying to get around here, and just taking a look at it here, from the inside line. I mean, we've got in front, we've got Justin McMahon, Kevin Powell, and Hunter Simpson there on the inside line. So Elite Southern Motorsports is now sitting in the lead 1, 3, and 5. So definitely interesting on that inside line. St. Croix. Wow, he got loose. So St. Croix better watch out there. B-Mac having a little bit of trouble out there. They're wiggling around out there in the chat, guys. We got 23 laps left here to go. Who's it looking like? Is Kevin Thompson going to be able to pull this one out? Is Kevin Powell in the 93 going to get it? Is St. Croix setting this one up to win his second in a row here at Atlanta? So we'll see as these guys are battling back and forth, determining whether they're going to make it enough on fuel. Don't know if they have enough to make it to the end here, but it's definitely going to be a nail biter. Inside line now starting to wiggle there a little bit. Definitely as we see Andrew St. Croix sliding around again. B-Mac, I guarantee you got to be ripping the arms off the recliner now because he is all over the place. St. Croix getting way loose now. Kevin Powell suffers the same. Definitely trying to make sure they get good pushing here. Christopher Berger doing a fantastic job out there, finally getting a decent run, but that is not what they need. 96 now hitting the wall. He's rotating back. Jackson Lomax, I guarantee, will get shuffled out of the top 10 for that little nudge there. Heading into turn 3. Outside line not having the help it needs now. This is going to be huge. What does Jonathan Jennings do? Does he go for his own point's sake and slide to the outside, or does he go ahead and stay to the inside? This is Elite Southern Motorsports drivers and figure out what to do. If I am St. Croix, you've got to cut in front of Kevin Powell now and leave Thompson out there, but he is not going to leave him. It's outside line now. Now look who's returning back from a 3-wide drop back. Number 7, Jason Miz returns back to the fight. Not too bad, especially at a like that's why I said it almost a super speedway track. Is he fell all the way outside the top 10, is now battling his way back up front. I mean, look, Jackson Lomax here, 96, after a nudge with the wall head was returned. And these guys have got to figure out how to drag that left foot on the brake here a little bit as these cars are slinging up and almost contacting the wall. I just don't know how much aerodynamic damage these cars can take before it really starts taking a toll here at the end of the race. But 19 laps to go here at Atlanta. Wild run here. Kevin Thompson still in the lead. Powell trying to see if he can find a little bit more. Powell but gets him there for just a second, but now the outside line falling apart once again. I'm not sure what in the world is going on here. It seems everything's kind of dropping out from underneath him here. Outside line just can't seem to hold a straight line. Miz is now up to 6th. Christopher Berger in the 36, something happened there. I think Miz is slicing through the field and really deteriorating that outside line. So the 7 definitely wants more than a third place here, as he's tried multiple times to send this thing 3 wide. Went ahead and did it around Berger. Berger now down to 7th. Here we go, St. Croix setting 2nd. St. Croix still holding Kevin Thompson out there. Kevin Thompson's going to lead the most laps here of the race with another 5 points to him. 21 machine still charging here. Fantastic job by the Twisted Axle Racing team. I am so ecstatic of how this one is going to end, and we'll see that in 17 laps as they come down the back chute. So far, so good. Kevin Thompson, St. Croix, and Jason Miz 1, 2, 3. I expect Miz to dump this one and go ahead and dive to the bottom as soon as he can get broken free here, which may leave the 2 guys on the outside stranded. Kevin Thompson trying to find a little more room here. St. Croix gives a huge nudge, a much needed one, as they get back out in front of Kevin Powell. Powell, really hats off to him here. I mean, the persistence on that bottom line is really putting on the pressure as Justin McMahon still shoving to keep them going here. Just a wild run here out of these drivers between the Elite Southern Motorsports team and Loud Pedal Racing, trying to do their best out here to see if they can put either one of the 12 or the 21 behind. But still in the front, Jason Miz. What did I say? If he can get clear, he's going to dump him, and he does. Inside line from Miz as he slides on through. Kevin Thompson now battling for his life to get back in front. Outside line, but now Miz has him by half a car. Not too bad. Oh, Miz out of the line. That is going to send Miz way into the turn here. That is not good. I don't know how he's going to re-enter or if he's considering coming down pit. Holy cow, 15 to go. The number 7 car, looked like he is heading down pit now. Holy cow, what a wild call. Maybe thinking a quick fuel strategy here. All right, let's rotate back up front where Kevin Powell's now overtaking St. Croix yet again. I know we are spending a lot of time here in the front, but it's interesting to see this kind of seesaw factor between the inside and outside lanes. 14 laps left to go with this one. Kevin Thompson leading the most of them. So far, so good. Kevin Powell, inside line, and Justin McMahon. And I'm interested to see, where all these guys will be. I mean, that's Hunter Simpson. I know they're in the number 5. He's hard to get. Sometimes easy to get mixed up with the Terminal Racing guys there in the weird white and blue. But Simpson now up 7. Who's our hardest charger here, Stella?
Looking at 11 places up for Mike Leftwich.
All right, Mike Leftwich. He should be out there in the number 60 machine.
Yeah, and Kevin Powell is 10 places up.
Right. Kevin Powell, I got to admit, Kevin Powell, nothing against him, but I think he is really, really bad at qualifying, but he can race at any track. Sometimes he starts outside the top 5, he starts outside the top 10. Sometimes we've even seen him beyond the top 15. And he'll come back and he'll battle. And that is exactly why he is in the points lead here. Exactly doing things exactly like that. Kevin Powell still in the lead, like I said, by only 2 points over top of Jacob Reeves. And Reeves definitely has his work cut out for him as he's sitting 10th. So this is going to expand the gap for Kevin Powell if it finishes like this. But I would probably say just looking at what we're seeing here, this entire race and the way Kevin Powell's working this inside line, I think he's trying to loosen up Kevin Thompson here. And I think the two Kevins are going to get into it right at the line. If it is, so be it. It's got to happen because these guys have been side by side for almost 30 laps here. And now we've got 10 laps left to go. Kevin Thompson's still in the lead. Andrew St. Coeur is now sitting second. He needs help desperately now. So if they are looking for a teammate and one to work with very well, Christopher Berger in the number 36 has got to show up. He's got to get up there and give St. Coeur really one heck of a push. If he can give him a shove that he is definitely expecting him and definitely need here, he would give him that confidence that this outside line could reform again. But Thompson out in front, still lead by half a car length as we head into turn 1 with 9 laps left to go. Kevin Thompson's now found a weak spot. Outside line is now failed. Starting to kind of fall apart here. Interesting enough to see Jonathan Jennings falling back as he is, but only a fender length here for Kevin Thompson to be in the lead. So far, so good. And it's interesting to see, really where these guys, kind of end up and really the angle they're looking out the back of these cars. If you take a look at Kevin Thompson hit right rear suspension there, so you can kind of take a look. We'll take a look at the back here of what they've got going on. There you go. That looks like Kevin Powell slung on by Justin McMahon. Ooh, man. Yeah, definitely easy to look from the top side, but not there. Kevin Powell. Something happened here. Kevin Powell's now falling way off. Kevin Powell now down to 3rd. Holy cow, Kevin Powell way out of it here. Rotate back to 3 here. What in the world is going on here that just caused Kevin Powell to fall off? 7 laps left to go. Right now is going to be St. Coeur and Thompson running away with this one, but they've got the draft to wheel it back in. I believe they're getting ready. I think that's Stutzman. I think they're getting ready to run up on Stutzman here. So let's take a look at it. Andrew St. Coeur bull bar. We'll kind of take a roll along here. Oh no, everybody's heading down pit. They don't have enough. 7 laps left to go. Everybody trying to make that oof. Definitely looking at Kevin Powell watching the 2 guys from Twisted Axle Racing slide into pit road there. Just barely made it. Powell in the grass there, but he's got to be careful. Like I said, they're always trying to keep an eye out there. Justin McMahon now has the lead. Running down Stutzman here. Stutzman rotates to the high side. Can't blame him. Just go ahead and stay out of the way. McMahon now going to duck on the way out, putting Hunter Simpson in the lead. Oh, man. Yeah, definitely. As these tires wear down. How are we looking on pit stops here, Stella? We got fuel and goes, or are we getting tires?
Let me see. I'm still looking at some extended times. Let's see. 3. Okay, we had a couple of them that were just fuel and go. St. Coeur and Lomax. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is St. Coeur going for the win. I guarantee you that. Sorry, looking down pit road, I believe. Oh man, I think that was Jackson Lomax. He almost made contact with. Where in the world is Jonathan Jennings? I see him sitting second up there. Jennings still here in the front. So far so good. 4 laps left to go. I'm hoping a fuel strategy isn't a problem here. Hoping I see everybody else pit kind of where this squeezes down the last final laps. Hunter Simpson still in the lead. Jennings sitting second. That puts us with Jacob Reeves third, Mike Samia fourth. Mike and Chris Leftwich 5 and 6. Daniel Wilkerson sitting 7th. Paul in the 45 sitting 8th. Chris Simon 9th, and Justin McMahon down a laps only the top 9 on the lead lap. Probably question if anybody else has enough fuel to make it here. Look at that, Twisted Axle Racing, here they come. Trying to make sure they stay in the front of this one, down pit road. Hunter Simpson, Jennings now is going to go into the lead. Does he have enough fuel to make it with 2 laps left to go? Let's rotate to Jacob Reeves sitting there in that number 3. Oh yeah. Very, very close here out of all these drivers, trying to see if they can make it white flag this time by. Does Jonathan Jennings have enough fuel? This is going to be a hard squeak by here, and Jonathan Jennings might revisit victory lane. Hasn't made it in a long time. The number 3 of Jacob Reeves leaves him. White flag is out. Here we go. Jacob Reeves doesn't have the run. That might have sacrificed it right there. But does the 13 and Chris Leftwich reel him in here and start pushing him toward the front? It's possible. The 13's got to fold him up to keep him going. Turn that car into a tin can, he says, and away they go. There's the shove. Jacob Reeves now on to the bottom. Here we go. White flag as they come through the final turn. Turn 3, now in the entrance of 4. Still, Reeves in the front. As they go here to the front, Jennings doesn't have enough, and Jacob Reeves is going to bring home the win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Jonathan Jennings ended up second, and Mike Leftwich in that number 60 sitting in third. Fantastic run by all these drivers. Wow, what a run. Wow, what a run. It's interesting to see that all our drivers here, the ones that you thought would have made it, and were leading most of this race, almost had to check out here. They did not get enough. Oof. Yeah, and everybody from 7th on back was at least a lap down. Wow. Awesome. Yep. And make sure they're on race. You have to hit the double caret to the left on the results screen. You've rotated it all the way to the back. Right, and we'll get some of find your favorite drivers out there as we chop through this, and we'll try to see if we can run down some of our race winners here, because this was a wild race here. Definitely right at the end. This was definitely a crazy one. I got to admit that. Definitely a crazy one. I thought St. Coeur and Thompson may have had this one locked up, but just not enough fuel. Holy cow. Jacob Reeves, what a gutsy move there by Elite Southern Motorsports, taking it 1 and 2. Yep. Leftwich. Dude, what a wild run. Are we unmuted here, Stella?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, boy. Sorry about this here, Mike. We're having definitely some about 1,000 technical problems here in the booth. Talk to me about your race here tonight and how that number 60 machine came third.
Saving gas at the beginning, then I went almost a lap down, then I pitted.
Nothing.
Then I come back out, they lapped me, and I stayed with the lead pack and got my lap back and pitted and just rode and saved fuel.
Man, what a wild run it was, though. How much fuel was left in the rig? Because I think everybody except the top 7 had to pit. Well, where were you at?
I had 1.6, I think, or 1.3, I think is what it was. 1.3.
Super close, man. Super close. And what a wild run it was here. And I'm always kind of keeping an eye out for what you guys, are able to do here, especially over there at Shoney's Racing. We head over to, I believe, Richmond Raceway is the next place you guys end up. What's your confidence level heading to a short track?
I think my son's better than me, and Jennings is better than me there. I'll probably just ride in the back, see what happens.
Oh, man, come on. Don't say that.
I just try to save my tires as best I can.
All righty. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for you. Give me a shout out, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I want to say thank you for Shoney's. Daniel Wilkinson for putting this on. He does a hell of a job. And I show up every chance I get. If I don't have to go out of town and work, I'm on here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, there's Mike Leftwich. Try to always squeak in just a little bit and have a conversation with these guys. Let's rotate to our second place finisher, which should have been Jonathan Jennings, who got passed here at the last minute. Jonathan Jennings, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, dude. Well, I could probably guess a few questions, that I'm going to ask you. Talk to me about this last lap pass here. Do you feel like you were set up there by Jacob?
I knew I was a sitting duck, but actually, I'm just happy to make it to the finish line at one of these things.
All right. Well, it was definitely a wild run from what we saw here, and I keep saying that. I think what gets me is the faster guys out here and the guys who are up in the front all race are not the guys who ended up in the top 5. I think the outside line formed up quite well, and I think it seemed more that Elite Southern Motorsports was taking the low line. Was that kind of the plan from the beginning?
Not really. We're trying to go wherever we could. It's not really a good idea to go 3 wide here, so try to keep it from happening, but sometimes we had to. And
Okay.
I didn't want to ride back there in 12th or wherever I was for the longest time. I was just trying to get up there and race, but I just couldn't. It's hard to when they're double file up through there.
Oh yeah, well definitely. Yeah, the lines here chopping back and forth. I saw Jason Miz in the number 7 slicing through there a couple of times, sending it 3 wide, mixing it up big time here in the front. But what a wild run you have here tonight. I thought we may have been able to see you back in victory lane here. You've been on hiatus a little bit. We haven't seen you down there. We do head to Richmond and then the Circuit of the Americas there at Coda. Are you feeling confident either one of those tracks for bringing a win home for you?
I feel confident at both. I like short tracks, and I've been working on my road course stuff, so we'll see. But that's a lot of turns to not make a mistake too. So.
Definitely, I think we just had a broadcast there at Coda, and man, it gets separated pretty quick. I think about 10 laps in, we had guys that were a minute off pace, and the other guys, they're leading it just so fast. Jonathan Jennings, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight. Give me a shout outs.
You guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for putting all these races together. That's a lot of fun, and Jake on the win. I think he's the last teammate we had to get in victory lane this year, and all my teammates for the teamwork.
All right, Jonathan Jennings, appreciate you showing up. And that 91 Chevrolet, we'll catch you next week.
All right, man. Thank you.
All righty, Stellan, that's going to do it here with Jonathan Jennings. And I've got to talk to Jacob Reeves now, our race winner here at Atlanta Speedway, Motor Speedway, that is. What that last lap pass was probably one of the gutsiest moves here Uh, did you end up setting up, Jonathan Jennings here in the very final laps?
Well, first thing I want to do before I talk about the race at all, I want to thank the good Lord above for all the blessings that He's given me, and all the great things that I got, and big thanks to my family, my dad. I know he's watching. He's been wanting me to win one of these races for a while, and I finally got one. But I mean, coming back, to the move right there with Jonathan, I was just sitting there riding, just taking my time. I knew that I had more fuel than they did at that first, or when we all pitted, and I knew I had a couple more laps more than they did, and so I was like, okay, well, we're gonna see what happens there. I'm gonna see if they actually ran it out, and they did that first run. And so I saw everybody ducking in, and everybody was like, we're gonna pit, and I was like, well, I'm not. I got enough gas. I've been back here saving, so I was just riding behind Jonathan right there, and just I told him, I said, I told him in chat, I was like, can you make it? And he said, yeah. So we're gonna race for it, and happy to bring home the win for the hometown crowd tonight.
Oh, wow. They were able to squeeze it all the way to the end. What a wild run, man! Dude, talk to me about here at Richmond Circuit of the Americas. These two tracks coming up next. Which one you feel more confident at?
Probably, excuse me, probably Richmond. I'm not the best at road courses. I'll be honest with you. But I've got a little bit of experience there. Done a little bit of testing at Circuit Americas, but I've done a good bit of Richmond. Richmond is somewhat similar to Phoenix. I know it's not right at, as similar, or it's not like Phoenix, but it's similar to Phoenix. And, I've had some good races there at Richmond. So it's actually one of my favorite short tracks. So hopefully we can pull, hopefully we can pull something out of our tail, when we go to Richmond.
Man, give me a shout outs here.
Once again, the good Lord above for all the blessings He's given me. My dad, all of my family. I got a lot of friends watching at work. I know there's a lot of them that's having a cold one right now, and we're gonna we're gonna have a couple of cold ones tonight. We're gonna celebrate this one. This is the first league win I've ever got, so we're gonna take it and we're gonna run with it.
All right. Do we have McConey Setup Shop to thank for it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was
Here we
thinking
go.
all the family and everything. Got to thank McConey Setup Shop. I know Jeff's probably gonna be mad on that one, but
Oh
yeah, got to
man.
thank
You got
McConey
it
Setup Shop. So yeah, I got it in there. So got to thank McConey Setup Shop for all they do for us. And I'm ready to go celebrate. I'm ready to get down with it.
All right, you do that. We'll catch up with you next week. Congratulations on your win.
All right, thank you, bud.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight. Stella, it was a great run. Next time you guys will see us, we'll actually get the Racing Shootout Series there on Saturday for the Doghouse Racing League. We'll find us next Thursday at Richmond International Speedway. Should be a great run there, especially with a short track. We'll be battling that one out for 125 laps. That's going to do it for us tonight. Patrick Morrison here in the booth with Stella. Stella, thanks for joining us tonight. We will catch all you guys next time. Be well, be safe, be kind, and rock on, guys. Let's do it again.